Match day 10 of the 2025-26 Premier League season was on this weekend, guys. Some huge matches up and down the country, and as always, I'm going to bring you the main highlights, the 5 matches that I want to highlight from match day 10 of the Premier League season this season. So, let us start with one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, many 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday. Fulham against Wolverhampton Wanderers in a absolute basement clash, a 6-point contest at the bottom of the top flight of English football. And Fulham won this one really resoundingly, which in truth is what many people expected. Fulham near the bottom of the table, but miles ahead of Wolves this season. I mean, Wolves have been terrible. Wolves now set a record of being the only side in the top 7 divisions of English football to not have a win, and they were never looking like getting one in this game. They were resoundingly beaten by Fulham. They were down to 10 men for almost an hour of this game as well. Agdebu getting sent off after 36 minutes. Sessegnon, Wilson and Mosquera with an own goal, with the goals for Fulham in this one. Fulham lift themselves up the table. Wolves remain rooted to the bottom of it, and it's no surprise that Vitor Pereira has been sacked after this match. The likes of Brendan Rodgers, even the likes of Gary O'Neill coming back to manage Wolves are the favourites, but it's going to be some random Portuguese bloke you never heard of before who will get the job most likely. But what a job he will have on. It's going to be a really, really difficult one. Another one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday afternoon was Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. And this was a draw, a 2-2 draw, Desmond, which is not a bad result for either side. Sean Dyche wants to arrest the slump for Nottingham Forest. Manchester United remain unbeaten, and they played well at times in this one. They were probably the side that edged it overall. They had more of the ball, they had slightly more of the chances. Not a lot in it though. Casemiro getting a goal, and Diallo as well, Ahmad getting a goal on his return to the Old Trafford lineup. It's good to see him back in a Manchester United shirt after so long away. But it was 2 quick-fire goals for Nottingham Forest that put them 2-1 ahead just after the half-time whistle. Morgan Gibbs-White and Nicolo Savona with the goals for Forest. Like I said, it's an encouraging result for Nottingham Forest. It's not a win, it's not getting them close to being outside of the bottom 3, but it's something to build on. Man United, they keep their form going. Of course, they've been so poor at times away from home. That is a positive result, I would say, overall for them. Now let's go to a London derby, Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea. Now, coming into this one, Tottenham very much the form side, but a side that always seems to struggle against Chelsea. And Chelsea, you know, they showed why they used to call White Hart Lane 3-point lane, because they picked up the 3 points in this game and they fully deserved it. They absolutely battered Spurs. Spurs producing 1 shot on target, 3 shots in total in this entire game. Now, it might seem a bit dramatic to boo them off after this game, but Jesus Christ, what a terrible performance by Spurs. I'd be fuming as well if I was a Spurs fan. It is not cheap to go and sit in that stadium. Whether you're getting a season ticket or buying a ticket on the day, it's a very big investment. It's a very hefty investment for Spurs fans. So I understand why they're annoyed at that one. They just did not turn up. Chelsea should have won this one by more, to be honest with you. They absolutely battered them. They are down to 5th, but they're in the conversation for a Champions League place, which, you know, last season they very much were not. So they've got a long way to go. They'll need to pick up the results, obviously, but overall it's not been a bad season for Spurs. But Chelsea did need that result. They are still outside the top 4 themselves, but they picked up points. They are level on points with Tottenham Hotspur in that 5th and 6th place. So very positive there. João Pedro with the only goal early on for the Blues. Let's head up to the Northwest next. The late kickoff, the very late kickoff between Liverpool and Aston Villa. The 8 p.m. kickoff in this one. Liverpool needed a win. They always seem to win against Villa, and they got one. They did get one. Villa's good run of the Premier League is unfortunately over for them, but I'm sure they'll pick themselves up pretty quickly. It was a pretty cagey game in the first half, but Mohamed Salah with a late goal in the first half, putting the Reds 1-0 up going into half-time. And Ryan Gravenberch, someone who has been so key to the Reds' success so far this season, he was the guy who got the second goal. Villa just weren't at the races. They just weren't at the races. I mean, they had won 4 games in a row before this one, so I'm sure they'll pick themselves up and get back into that European contention in the Premier League. But Liverpool are back. Can they keep this form going? We'll see what happens in the Champions League this midweek. And the final game I'm going to highlight, I kind of hinted at this earlier on, you know, the teams further down in the Premier League getting some good results. West Ham United was that team. A surprise comeback victory against Newcastle United on Sunday afternoon. Jacob Murphy put the visitors 1-0 up, and you already felt that there was going to be a sinking feeling at that point that West Ham were just going to down tools down their heads and probably get hit for 4 or 5, but that just didn't happen. They responded really well. They showed really good fighting spirit, and they fully deserved their victory. Paqueta with the opening goal, a bit fortunate. Nick Pope of a poor display in goal for Newcastle, it must be said. The first and third goals, particularly the first goal, he really should have done better overall, but he did not. West Ham looking as though they were going to go into the break at 1-1, but no. Sven Botman with an awful own goal. I think it was from a Paqueta cross that it was put into his own net. Again, just really unfortunate. And then Thomas Souček with the final goal of the game. It was initially allowed, then it was disallowed, and then it was allowed again. It was such a mess at the end of this one with VAR. They eventually got the right call from what I understand, but yeah, it took a very long time. Ended up being in the 98th minute was that goal from the Czech Republic international. West Ham don't care. That lifts them ahead of Nottingham Forest. They're still in the bottom 3, but they can see light at the end of the tunnel, albeit they are still 3 points behind Burnley, who are in 17th now. So yeah, there you go, guys. Those were the big standout results from Matchday 10 in the Premier League. Arsenal and Manchester City also getting big wins this weekend as well. Liverpool up to 3rd. Are they out of the title race? Some people have wrote them off. I'm not completely writing them off just yet, but they need one hell of a run to catch Arsenal, who are absolutely flying in the Premier League right now. A team that don't even look like conceding a goal, let alone dropping points at this point in the season. But yeah, see you soon, guys, for much more content on the world of football, just like this as well soon, guys. So yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a great day, guys. See you very soon.